Hello, how are we doing? Welcome to Only Leeds Bros, where we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about the rest of the promotion race, because we've got 5 matches left of the season, specifically. In fact, no, I'm not going to look at the thing. I'm going to try and remember them from memory. We have Preston, then it's Oxford, Stoke, Bristol City, Plymouth. There we go. Not a bad combination there. That'll do it. And I just thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about what our chances are of actually managing to get this done. Because it is something that has been floating around in the ether for a very, very long time. People are obviously a little bit scared that things are going to continue to go bad as they did a little bit earlier in the season. But I do think we have enough to make that not happen. I am also going to say thank you to the channel sponsor, Match Bingo. Like they sponsor my channel, they sponsor this channel. And it's a fantastic way of watching football. Pop in a couple of quid, you get your bingo card, cash prizes for a line, for 2 lines, or for a full house. But again, only stake what you're willing to not get back, and be gamble aware. You can only play if you're 18 plus, and I've got the gamble aware link down below. I'm doing that for my channel and for the Only Leeds Bros channel. If they want to continue to do that, then that's up to them. But yeah. Anyway, thought I'd continue talking about the promotion chances this season. Good afternoon, Danny. Hope you are doing very, very well. I would run a poll right now. However, I've just realised I cannot, in fact, run a poll right now because this isn't on my channel. So that keeps things a little bit difficult. So I'm going to have a little bit of a run through what exactly is expected to be going on for the remainder of the season. I need to quickly send a message somewhere. Hello, Rich. And hello, Rich. But yeah, I think we're going to go match by match, figure out roughly what we expect us to be on, and also roughly what we expect the other sides to be on. I'm not going to go specifically game by game. I'm just going to stab in the dark it and see where we end up. So if I take a quick look at Flash Score, is probably the right one for us to go to, isn't it? Hello, Carol. Hope you are doing very, very well. Skip over to Championship. So let's open the specific standings. So currently we are a couple of points clear of Sheffield United. It's a good place to be. I would be a little bit more spooked if they didn't have that points deduction, which, to be clear, was very, very thoroughly deserved because they cheated. But you know what? We're in a good spot right now. And whilst we might be looking at our form and thinking the last 5 games we've dropped 6 points, Sheffield United have done that in their last 2 games. So we're in a better position than them right now, at the very least. Good morning, Luke. Yeah, I mean, the issue with YouTube is if a channel doesn't stream for a while, it just falls off the algorithm a little bit and just gets nuked. So this is a good way of just keeping things rolling a little bit. And I know that it's not the best of times to be streaming, especially since I can't stream for too long because I have to head out at like 12, which means I've got various bits of getting ready to do after the stream, which means I'm only going to go for like 15, 20 minutes. It's nice to be around to lend a hand, you know. But also, yes, the third only Leeds bro, Daniel, right here. And we say this, but we could have also said this in the second Bielsa season, and that was the season we went up, so we'll have to find out. But looking through our remaining matches, we have to open a link in a new tab. So first up, Preston. And I'm going to deal with the home games first, because at the very least, I've got tickets to Preston and Stoke. But Preston, I've got a good feeling. I think we've got a decent bit of momentum going. I think this is one that we can almost certainly get done. So I'm going to put that one down as a win. I know overconfidence is what screws us in the end, but I'm going to add that to the win pile. Then Oxford United, away from home. Going to have a cheeky look at the home form table and see where Oxford are at. Form table, last 5 games at home. Oxford, not great. 6 points at home, which means they've won 2, 3 losses, which, to be fair, is floating a little bit. It's a little bit squiffy, a little bit difficult. Keep popping your predictions in the chat, by the way, because I'm just going to revisit them as we get to the end of the stream. But the Oxford match. I think we're in a really good spot for that. I think if we win against Preston, which I'm predicting that we do, then Oxford is going to be completely fine for us. In the last 5 games at home, they've only scored 5 goals in their last 21 home games. Yeah, they're not significantly worse than average. They are average. They're 12th. But they've scored 29, conceded 28. I think they're a side that you can get at. And I think they're a side that we will get at. So I'm going to call that a second win. And it might be optimistic, but it's what I'm going with. Third match on the list, Stoke. Check the away table. Stoke, bottom on away form. And I'm going to say that we're in a position where we can sort of undo the hoodoo that Leeds United tend to do. So I sort of genuinely quite firmly believe that we beat Stoke. In their last 5, they've drawn once, they've lost 4, they've scored 5 goals, fair enough to them, but they've conceded 11. They are a very, very open, get-at-able side. So I think that's 9 points right there in the next 3 matches. Then it's Bristol City at home, whose away form, not awful. 1 win, 3 draws, 1 loss. Average. I'm going to be on the paranoid side, and I'm going to say that at some point in this next 4 games, we're going to drop some points. And I'm going to say it's going to be the Bristol City match, just to invoke that little bit of fear. So I'm going to call that 10 from the next available 12. And then Plymouth. Plymouth Argyle, who are playing at home and are 21st in the home form table. Not a bad side still. Well, that's the last 25 matches, so I'll fix that. In the last 5 at home, 15th. And I think this comes down to what we need on the day. We absolutely can win that. No doubt. If we go there and we do what we can do to teams, like we did to Plymouth earlier in the season, we'll blow them out of the water. With relative ease. And I'm really excited for that if we're able to get it done. Which would give us 13 points from the remaining matches, which guarantees that we're going up. Because Burnley or Sheffield United will drop points. That is enough to get us above them. Off the top of my head as well, if we get 11 points, that is also enough to send us up. Admittedly, goal difference might come into it, but 11 points should be promotion. So we can draw 2, we can lose 1. But I imagine if we do that, we'll get complete and utter head loss. But we also need to look through what Burnley have left and what Sheffield United have left. So having a look at Burnley and their remaining fixtures, they've got, on 85 points, Norwich. Pretty scary match, I think. Norwich are a side that can score a lot of goals, and whilst Burnley are at home, and it's very, very difficult to beat Burnley when they're playing at home, I think Norwich are good enough to at least pressure them, to at least cause them a couple of issues. Followed by Watford, who we know can be a threat, and then you get into the run. What is my eyebrow doing? Hello, eyebrow. Thank you, eyebrow. The run starts with Sheffield United. Now, it depends on what both of the sides need at this point. At the moment, I'm having this one down as a draw. Because I think the way that Burnley tend to do things and the way that they did things against us was if they don't need to go out and fight for a win, they won't necessarily do that. They will take a point and they will be happy with a point. But you can never be certain. That's where that little bit of difficulty comes in. Also, yes, please do the like. That would be wonderful. So I'm going to have that down as a point, and we'll reassess it when it comes to the time. That match is going to be the one on the 21st after we play Stoke. So at that point, they know what they will need to do with 2 matches left, and they will know whether or not they need a win, whether they don't need a win, all of the complexities around that kind of thing. Then it's QPR away from home, and we know what that can be like. Right, we know that QPR are not an easy win for anybody in this division. Let's have a quick look at the standings. QPR's home form is 12th, is mid-table, but they've only lost 1 of the last 4, which says to me there's potentially going to be a little bit of points dropped, which is not really what you need if you are Burnley in that situation. And then you've got the really, really fun final match of the season, which is Burnley. Not Burnley, which is Millwall, who away from home are currently the fourth best side. In the last 5 matches, they've won 3, they've lost 2. They're better than us away at the minute, which, I mean, is not much of an achievement, but it's pretty damn good. And they're not going to be complaining in the slightest at getting to play Burnley on the final day of the season. In addition to that, those 5 matches have only seen 4 goals for them, 4 goals against them, which means it is going to be dire. It's going to be horrific. It's going to be the most grungy, horrible game of football. And I can see Millwall getting something. So if we take off the 2 points for Burnley playing against Sheffield United, because we're going to take 2 points off both of them. And if we take, we'll say they drop at least 3 more points. So I'm thinking they get 10 points from the rest of the season, which would put them on, if we look at the overall standings, 95, which is a lot, to be fair. It's a test. I do think they might drop more than that, but it's good for us to have a sort of guiding mark. In that case, we also need 10. But it depends on what happens with Sheffield United, because Sheffield United currently 2 points behind both of our sides. If they drop 2 points, they need... I've introduced myself to some difficult maths here. Draw with them, 84. Then I think they need to win everything else, because the most they can get is 98 from this point. If they drop points against Burnley, that's 96. Assuming Burnley and us get 10 points each, they need a lot from the rest of the season. At least 13. Which is exclusively they draw to Burnley and they can't drop anything else. So I'm feeling kind of good about the spot that we're in at the minute. And in terms of Sheffield United's fixtures, let's have a very, very quick look at that. They have remaining Plymouth away from home. I'm not going to make any statements on that particular match because the moment I do, we get problems. But their current manager, quite good. They've got a quite nice one after this. Like the rest of their season outside of the Burnley match is relatively nice, but we thought that about the Oxford game. So, for example, they've got Plymouth away from home, then then Cardiff at home, which is, again, pretty much fine. But then the Burnley match. And then they get Stoke away. Stoke away, Like, Stoke aren't going to be in the best of, like, physical fitness because they will have just played against us, and we know that after playing against us, teams tend to drop off a little bit, but Stoke have an unpleasant run at the end of the season. Where's Stoke in the table, actually? Stoke are going to be fighting for it, to be fair, which could provide that little bit of a landmine for us, but it could also cause problems for them, so who knows. And then their final match of the season is against Blackburn. And of all the teams that I wanted a promotion rival to face on the final day of the season, earlier on in the year you would have said, I would love them to have to play against Blackburn. That'd be fantastic. But now we're in a spot where them playing against Blackburn is a sort of quite kind way for them to end the season because Blackburn have been shocking. Let's have a specific look at Blackburn's results here. Yes, the last one on the 15th of February. So they've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches without a win. 2 of them have been draws. I'm not looking at Blackburn to do anything especially good for us. I've got to be completely honest with you. I think that is 3 points for Sheffield United right there. But at the same time, I think the season... I think the season could be done by that point. And I hope the season is done by that point because Fun fact, the day before the final day of the season, I'm at a wedding, which I'm hoping will be an absolutely wonderful affair. But then at 12:30 the next day is the fear of we've got Plymouth away. Oh no, let's hope it goes well. Which is a little bit spooky. I think it'll turn out okay, but we'll have to find out. But looking at Sheffield United's run, I think they drop points to someone that isn't Burnley. I think they continue this little stumble that they're having. The little long fall over that is going on. And I genuinely think that is enough to knock them out of the fight. I think if they... Because dropping points to Burnley already makes their maximum 96. I think if you drop points beyond that, at the very least you're down to 94. If it's a loss, it's down to 93 as their most. Anything more than that, they're in deep shit. In fact, I'm going to check the reverse results of the matches that we've got left and see roughly based on that what we land with, because that's going to give us a little bit of an indication. Because that doesn't reduce the idea of any shakes, because we know that we've had those. But I'm kind of interested. So, teams that remain for us being Preston, where we, if I can find it, it was after Blackburn at some point. Was it? Was it before? Right, Preston. We drew. Let's call that 1 point. Then Oxford United, we pumped 4 points. We've also got Stoke, who we... Hello, Iris, you cute girly. When did we play Stoke? Who we beat. Also good, 7 points. In addition to that, we have Bristol City, who we drew with. Fair enough, 8 points. Last game of the season, Plymouth. What did we do with Plymouth? Can't quite remember off the top of my head. Who we beat 3-0 at home, which is not too bad. Off the top of my head, that is 11, maybe? Or was that 10? I've completely lost count. Going well. Right, sorry. We drew with Preston. We drew with Bristol City. Beat Stoke. Beat Oxford. That gets you to 8. Yeah, 11. 11 points, I think, gets us to 96, sees us up. If we don't go up on 96, that's bad. That is the championship being at its most championshipy. Because to be in that situation, it would need to be the most ridiculous end of the season. Because for that to not work, you'd need... Hold on, mathematically, what are we talking about here? So say they can both only add 13. Or if they can only add 12. Okay, so the worst case scenario in that instance is Sheffield United win and win all their remaining games. Why not? That gets them on 98. Burnley lose to Sheffield United, win everything else, 97. That is the only shape of events that works that means that we get 96 points and don't go up. Now, this is assuming we get to 96. That in itself is a challenge. That is saying that we draw one, lose one. But mathematically, I feel quite good. And I still feel like we're in a situation where Stoke or Bristol, we could secure it. And if that happens, I'm going to be feeling pretty damn good. And the best bit is I'm going to be able to vlog it. Yes. Very much looking forward to it. That Bristol City match is now on the 28th, isn't it? If I'm wrong, can someone correct me? But I'm fairly sure Bristol City moved from the Saturday to the Monday. But who knows? Before I bring the stream to a close in a couple of minutes, chuck your predictions in the chat. I'm going to get through a couple of them, and then I'm going to have to run because I've got some shopping to do, which is going to be very, very fun. Rich reckons that Easter Monday is the day we clinch the title. You're saying Stoke, which 3 games into the future, if we've won our next 3, I think it's basically done. Win the next 3 and we're up. Don't win the next 3 and people get a little bit jittery. But I still think if we're on 92 points with 2 matches remaining, I'm feeling very happy. I'm feeling very comfortable. Danny is still not swaying from saying that we finish second. He says that we get 95 points and finish second place. I don't think so. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be fine. And I'm tempted to say first, because I don't think Burnley get all 3 points out of Sheffield United, and I think throughout the rest of the season we've got a better run than Burnley do. But I'm talking myself into positivity, and we all know that that can be a mistake when you're a Leeds United fan, so who knows? What I do know is that this is going to be the end of the stream, so I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please pop a like on it to help out Only Leeds Bros. Subscribe if you are not yet, that is also genuinely fantastic. And you could even, I think you can become a channel member over here. I don't know, but you can also get your tickets to the Leeds Creator Cup at leedscreatorcup.com. Luke B will take first or second, just get me out of this league. I'm in the same position myself. I'm also in the same position of scan this QR code to head to Only Leeds Bros' link to match bingo, which would be massively appreciated. And yeah, I'm going to call it there. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.